Yo, everybody, welcome to We, the 98ers. I'm not doing the horse sound on my own intro. I am the Stache. We are saying shooter, but hey, don't worry. We got our boy, the professor, Thomas Schooley. He's in the house with us tonight. And man, oh man, what do you think about that? What do you think about that, Thomas?
Houston, we have a problem.
Oh, ground control to Major Dusty.
Yeah, and I heard there was just some kind of arrest warrant out for Refro and KK for robbery tonight.
Robbery. Oh man, talk about a complete game from the Tampa Bay Rays. That was it tonight. Tonight was it. I mean, fantastic game. First and foremost.
Still can't do it simple though.
Well, hey, listen. It's Tampa, man. We don't. I mean, we look. It's just like with the Lightning. I mean, none of those games necessarily were simple, but every single series was. So, I mean, we start out the game right away with that Altuve home run again, first inning home run, just like last game. The little man strikes, and then pitching right again in this series. Pitching. Astros come out and he's sharp. Rays aren't looking at too much, and Yarbrough comes out and he struggles his way through, but gets the job done. After that early, 5+, the guy did his job.
Well, we talked about yesterday, a lot of people were concerned about Yarbrough pitching, and we said, yeah, he might give up some, but we knew Houston's pitcher could also give out plenty of homers and runs. So you got to drop the link for Chris.
Yeah.
So I mean, and Yarbrough ended up not doing so bad. He got far like we needed him to. I think we went a little bit too far in the bullpen than we should have. But
we're up 3-0 right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to get the brooms out and everything, but like now you could just kind of let your arms go a little bit tomorrow and see how the chips fall, especially if the ball keeps falling our way.
And you got Glasnow on the mound, so
right. And he's been our sharpest guy. Really, he's been our sharpest guy so far, and I mean, and our defense is again can't be just It can't be understated. And shout out, thanks for stopping by, Amy. Prayers for you and your family. We love you. Thanks for being here. And go Rays. Well, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Be safe. Let's go ahead. Since this is two of us chuckleheads, anyways, let's go ahead and bring Chris in. You guys know him. You guys maybe love him. Shooter doesn't. I do. I'm a big fan of this guy, Chris. Welcome in. Welcome into We the 98ers.
The 98ers come alive again, man. You know what's been more impressive is I think now that makes like, what was that? They were saying like 23 batters that the Rays bullpen have yet to give up a run.
22.
22,
yeah.
22 guys on base.
Yeah,
Look,
they inherited 22 runners and gave up 0 runs.
Well, and on top of that, they're 30 men stranded, something like that.
Yeah.
30 guys stranded on base on top of that.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
But
getting the job done.
Hey man, the stables are alive and well, you know. They like to make you stress about it though. I can give them that, man, because I'm like, come on, man.
Well, again, here we go, you know. Well, and look, we talked about that. We started off the game with that home run by Altuve, but then was it the 5th inning comes through with the error, you know, a great lead off again. Randy with another dandy coming through with the leadoff hit there, and you know Lau struggling but put the ball in play, forced Altuve to make a throw, and he put it in the dirt, and that led to a breakout. You know.
Yeah, that inning lasted, I think, like 35 minutes or something.
Yes, absolutely.
But Randy's speed forced that bad throw because I think what Altuve was thinking is, look, I got to get it there quick for the double play.
For the two. And it just, absolutely. He clutched it. And yep. He short-armed it, really. Yeah, he short-armed it.
Yep. And
so, you know I'm just, you talk about go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad they made that call at the end of the game because I think the first base umpire all night has been bad.
Ahead here.
Oh, sorry.
Now I know how it feels to be Shooter. You know, because
Shooter
I was gonna get there. But
right,
look right here, we can have that home run as long as he gives up the errors, and that's what I was saying before. Hey, look, 2 home runs, 2 runs, 2 solo home runs. That's 2 runs. 2 errors, 5 runs for the Rays. I'll take that trade any day.
I think it was more because there was 5 tonight, and then 3 yesterday off of his error. It's like 8 runs.
Well, the first 3 technically were charged off of his error.
Oh, okay.
Like even though like the inning went on, like the inning would have still been going. It was still no outs. You know what I mean? So the inning didn't end. It was just he was responsible for So like the 2 on and then the runner at the plate or whatever. After so it's baseball. You know how they squash that weird, anyways.
Look, and I don't mind the Rays. I mean, it's happened all postseason. The Rays have given up. I mean, really all season. You know, they've given up a lot of home runs, but it's always. Most of them have been solo shots. You can survive a solo home run. You can't survive, like when someone's getting a 3-run home run. So I don't mind. I mean, granted, Yarbs kind of had me, second batter of the game, and he gives up a home run. But
you were all over it. You were all over it in our private chat, talking about how you were not happy with Yarbs getting the start, and I thought it was a good call, man. Give Glasnow that 1 extra day, and I don't mind giving Yarb or Glasnow the extra day. I just wanted to see Fleming in there. I just think he had more rest. I think he could have gone, although Yarbs he went 5 or 6 innings.
6.
I don't remember.
6+.
Yeah. So I mean, I wanted Fleming to see if he could go a little bit deeper. To save some of the bullpen's arms, like maybe so Castillo didn't have to come up or Fairbanks didn't have to come up today. That was my only thing. Is I just thought Fleming, he didn't pitch at all against the Yankee series. He wasn't even on the 40-man roster.
Right.
So, and he's, I want to say he was like 4-1 in the regular season when he pitched. So I liked his chances better than Yarbs because Yarbs can be erratic. He'll have games like he had today, which were good, but then he has games like he had against the Nationals in the regular season when he gave up 4 runs in the first inning. So
but we gotta stop second guessing Cash.
I don't know why I continue to do it.
I'm sitting on my
I
couch
keep doing
all
it,
night,
and I
being
keep,
like, nope.
and he keeps just like sipping his Gatorade cup. I have that GIF on my phone, and he's just like, "Fuck you, Chris,
he keeps
man."
pulling down the mask. He keeps pulling down the mask,
Dude.
and like, ha 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 ha, and then makes the call,
Yeah.
and then
I said it.
we're out. Like,
I said
just
it the
fucking
other
die.
night. I said I'm gonna stop second guessing him, but I got to do it. I won't second guess anything Cash does anymore.
Listen, I'm not second guessing him. I'm just, sometimes I'm gonna say I don't know how I feel about it. It's my new thing. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't do it. I'm just like, man, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Yarbrough thing last night on the show because literally it got announced while we were doing the show last night.
Right.
They had already said Glasnow was going to be game 4, and they hadn't named game 3. And then while we were doing the show last night, all of a sudden it came up, it was Yarbrough. So, but to pitch against Houston's pitcher, and you saw his stats, it was, okay, Yarbrough can have a little bit of a bigger leash. And like we said in the private chat, we're already up games. We're already up 2 games. Their pitcher wasn't the best. He had 4 home runs his last time out against him. So, give our guys some rest.
Yeah. No, and I agree, man. But you know what? Even when the Rays' best bats aren't coming through, Brandon Lowe, dude, I want to say he's for this entire postseason, very 0 for 30 something.
He's lousy right now.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of slump he is. He needs to go put on those Randy boots or something. But we need him. Not only we're gonna need him. I mean, I'm not gonna take that next step, but come on, man. I mean, we got to win 1. They got to win 4. So.
And the update, I see someone here, Joey said, I hope KK is okay. They said the x-ray showed no broken bones. So he'll probably be
bruised.
Right, he'll probably be out tomorrow's game, but they definitely can't put him on IR. If he goes on IR, he will not be able to play the World Series. So
no, Cash said he was day to day. So
yeah,
it might. My thing is it's probably just swollen and bruised. It hurt like hell, obviously, but
they're actually talking to him now.
Yeah,
let him have
got him on the flesh. Looked like it got him on the fleshy part on the inside of the palm right there. Man, that's gonna hurt. But you saw him up on the rail. He just sitting there rubbing it out the whole time. He was crazy.
Yeah, I think they'll rest him
where the ball struck his palm.
He said it's hurt. He said it's hurting. They're interviewing right now. He said he's hurting really bad. He's trying to be hockey tough.
Don't get me started, dude.
Look, man, Kiermaier's not going to waste an opportunity to go to the World Series, because sometimes it's the only chance you get,
Yeah.
So I just think he'll get a day of rest, and if the Rays, they go and get the series sweep tomorrow, then he's getting an extra few days of rest,
Yeah, because we're 1 game ahead of the Nationals, so we'll definitely get an extra day. So it should be.
And then you got to fly down to Texas, and
I
think the series is going to be played in Texas, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Arlington. Yeah, we talked last night.
So, all right, let's pick it up back where we left off.
So then Renfroe, comes through with that big blooper. If you can call, a blooper big, but that was a huge clutch little hit there, and that broke it wide open. I mean, ran through the whole lineup got through the whole lineup, and now that's what changed it all. And a little bit of some touch and go from our bullpen there. Going through the 7th and the 8th, but the defense came through again. Renfroe with 2 big plays in the outfield. After Kiermaier had his 2 big plays in the outfield early in the game, Renfroe came in late in the game, back-to-back innings with huge plays in the outfield and right field. Man, you see it all so far through this game. Last night it was the infield out there making plays, and And even Adames had a great defensive play from deep in the infield and not throw all the way across the first with the pick from Yanni. That was a great play as well. So I mean, the defense was flashing all over this game again. You know, even
Wendell too.
Wendell as well, absolutely. So, and I also think maybe a lot of guys in that situation late in the ninth would have tried to pick that ball and make a play and throw and maybe get an error and a run scores there, maybe even two. I like that he picked it up and put it in his pocket. Yeah, the bases are loaded, but you got to trust your guys. You got to trust your system, your pitching, your defense. And that's what they did again. Just kind of like we saw on the other side of the bay in the playoffs. Trust the system, play your game, and good things are going to happen. And that's what the Rays are doing right now. They're playing their game, they're trusting the system, and at the end of 9, they're at the top of the scoreboard.
The Yarborough did 5 innings, faced 21 batters, Fairbanks 3 batters, Curtis 5 batters, Thompson 3 batters, Loop 2 batters, Castilla 5 batters.
How did Loop only face 2 batters? Doesn't he have to face 3?
I would think so, but it's showing the MLB is officially showing he only faced 2.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, look, man, I think you guys said it a few nights on. I think it was game 2 maybe. I know on one of the nights you said, look, good teams are gonna take advantage of errors.
Yeah.
And the Rays, they scored 5 runs, or 3 runs, but scored 5 in that inning off that error. And the good teams take advantage of that. And sometimes that's what you need to win a game. You're not always going to be able to win with the long ball, although the Rays have produced most of their points from the postseason off the long ball. But look, it was a 1-0 game, and you knew it was only a matter of time before the Rays were going to do something offensively. As long as they keep it close, they're going to wear this team down, and they're going to get, they're going to take their chance. And when they do, they're going to attack it.
Yeah, well, and if you're watching the game, I'm pretty sure it's BA that was saying there in the 5th inning that as it gets deeper in the game, the pressure is more on the Astros with a 1-run lead than it was on the Rays. And then there it was in the bottom half of that inning, the error by Altuve, 5 on the board, ball game. And that was it. The pressure was on. Altuve clutched it again, short-armed it again, whatever you want to call it, didn't put it in the dirt. And that was the difference. When the pressure was on, they cracked. When the pressure was on our guys, they made the plays. That right now is the difference in this game or in this series.
Yep. And I don't mind if we can get to that last at bat for Altuve if we're there yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the home plate umpire making that call without checking with his first base umpire because I felt like.
Is it because we're Rays fans, though?
No.
Had that been a Ray at that plate, that looked like almost a holdup. I would have been like, I want to check.
Well, listen, I want to hear Chris's take, and then I'll give you my take on it because I have a take as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close call. I don't know if he fully went, but all night I felt like the Rays have held some bats. They didn't go all the way, and when he checked with that umpire or that first base ump, he was saying go every time. And plus, with it being so late, I just think they're like, we need to get this game over with. That's my take.
I don't know about that. I don't know if the ump is like.
It wasn't so late there in California.
Yeah, first.
Yeah, that's true.
And again, I feel like they called it pretty evenly.
Like a 5 o'clock start.
Yeah.
Right.
See, my thing is, look, you got to watch there was to say watch the wrist, and yeah, you got to watch the wrist. You break the wrist. For me, you got to watch the head of the bat too. What does the head of the bat do at the end of his motion? If the guy's really holding up and didn't commit to swinging the bat, because that's what you're looking at. Did he commit to swinging or not? Because if he committed to swinging, that's a strike. If he did not commit to swinging, then that's a check. That's basically the definition you're looking for here. Now, if the guy goes and moves his hips and his hips activate, that head of the bat is going no matter what. So if you then decide to stop, the head of that bat is going to jerk back real quick. Like as you do it, the head of that bat does something very specific. So maybe your wrists haven't completely broken yet, but your body and your hips are committed. So then when you pull back, it's a very jerky motion. Whereas if you're if you're still checking and you haven't committed yet, that bat just kind of swings. It kind of comes to a little bit of a stop, and yeah, the bat head comes back, but it's not nearly that violent, jerky kind of motion. And I think that's what the home plate umpire saw, is as he came back, that bat stopped quickly and came and jerked back. And that's committing to the swing. And I think that's what he saw. That's why I think he didn't go and check with the first base umpire. He saw the action of the head of the bat there, and that's what he called. That's
and they only check if they're not sure too.
Right.
And if he had a good grasp on it and said, "Hey, he went," he's gonna call it.
Well, and I have a huge problem now with catchers just being able to basically command the home plate umpire to go check. Because it used to be like, that was disrespectful back. And when I grew up, for the catcher to point it at first base and tell the home plate umpire to check, that used to be like a no-no. Like, no, you don't do that. You trust the guy. And unless it's like super close. And then like you did it personally. Like you looked up to him and be like, hey, can I get a call, Blue? Can I get a look? It wasn't pointing down there telling him to do his fucking job. It was, hey, you know what I mean? Do me a solid. See what he saw. That's how it used to be. So I don't mind it at all. Like, hey, I'm tired of these catchers being so fucking demanding, like telling the guy how to do his job. And second of all, the way the bat head moved, it was clearly to me like he committed to swinging the bat there and then tried to stop it a little too late.
So Randy, as you like to say, Rosarena now owns 18 hits through the Rays' first 10 games of the postseason. Has them tied behind only 3 other players: Thurman Munson, Devon White, and Hideki Matsui.
And that's 3 multi-hit games as a rookie. It's the most in Rays. So isn't he like the first to do that too, and for the Rays or whatever?
But that's a good company to be in.
Yeah.
Be in there with.
Hideki, bro.
Well, here's my story on Randy or Rosarena. Early in the year. Yeah, I call him Home Rundy, but early in the year I was like, man, because Renfroe was really disappointing me in the regular season. It was either strikeout or home run with that guy, and his defense wasn't really that great. So I'm like, man, I'd rather see a faster player with a better bat play more than Hunter Renfroe. And I guess, Kevin Cash knew what he was doing, man. He's like, he held him off at the right time. And the guy's on fire, man. Like, you might as well just come up and, I mean, that one inning, they just walked him. Like, I don't even think he stepped in the box. They just said they're going to walk him, and he went right to first.
No, he didn't at all. Which, again, I like that, the things that they're doing to speed up the game. You used to have to throw all those pitches. Yeah, you used to have to throw the 4 pitches. And now it's like they're like, he shouldn't even touch the bat. I'm like, yeah, no, I agree. Why did he touch a bat? That's the entire reason of this rule. Just go ahead and tell him, hey, go to first, bro.
Well, not even that, but that pitcher's got to put 4 extra pitches on for
and I mean,
no reason.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I don't mind that. I'll take the walk for that guy knocking extra 4. Hey, is that a blueberry Red Bull you're drinking?
No, it's a Pepsi.
No. Pepsi.
No, look, I just saw the blue can. I saw the blue can. That's all.
No, I don't drink energy drinks at all.
I can tell.
I just don't. The only one I'll really drink is the Mountain Dew Kickstart, because I think it's more Mountain Dew than anything else, and I love Mountain Dew.
Well, it's got like juice in it too, right? Supposedly.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
Mountain Dew and juice, allegedly.
I don't.
So I'm not gonna put you on the spot, Stache, because I know it's your first time doing this solo. So I'm gonna ask you to share this picture, but this picture was put out on the Ray's Twitter, and it says, "Ray's defense be like,"
Oh, that's hilarious.
and it's Wendell everywhere.
That's funny.
Man, I thought I was watching the Bucks 2002 defense out there, man, because they were not letting get nothing by. And Randy almost had one. He had, I think he went for it a little bit too early, too late. But he was pretty close to making a pretty nifty play there later in the game.
Yeah,
But
he didn't quite have that early break on that one play. But yeah, man, they were selling out. That's the other thing about this team, man. This team is selling out.
It's the playoffs. If you're not selling out, and I saw some master players, on some of those bloopers where they could have sold out and they just didn't want to do it. And that's going to be the difference in this series. Who wants it more? And the Rays do.
Well, we came into this series talking about pitching and the pitching, and it has seemed to be stifling Houston a little bit, but really it's the defense that has kept them all through these wins. It's the defense that kept Houston off the board.
Oh, 100%.
Look, after that Altuve home run, wasn't it? Who was the next? I think it was that same inning where Kiermaier literally ran into the wall to catch that ball.
Yeah.
And then Kiermaier.
What happens if he misses it?
And this shows you what kind of team this is, because Kiermaier then became the cheerleader for the last 3 innings, and when they ended up winning, and that just shows you what kind of bond. And we saw that in the bubble with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And that's what's happened in these bubbles is these teams have gotten closer, and and we don't want to talk too much hockey on this, but if you even go back to when Tortorella won our first Stanley Cup here, he talked about how the home games, he still put the team in the hotels and wouldn't allow the families to be around them and pretend it was a away game. So there was no distractions or anything. And it really seems like the bubbles have been working for some of these teams. It's just lucky it's been the Tampa Bay teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're playing as well as you can play baseball right now. I'm more surprised because I had a Rays versus Dodgers World Series prediction, and now the Dodgers are not looking too great right now.
It's going to be a Braves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Man, and it's another one of those situations where it makes me super sad. The games aren't here, and potentially in Atlanta, because I'll tell you what,
road trip.
I make the road trip. Hell yeah, I make that road trip. Hell yes, I make that road trip. I went to more Braves games as a kid than anything else because I lived up, in the Panhandle, and I went to summer camp every year. So kind of at the end of summer camp was beginning of spring training and whatnot, end of spring training, wherever, and we were there.
Well, see, I grew up here, and we didn't have before the Rays. The only thing you got to watch around here was the Braves.
Yeah.
So I was a Braves fan, and then all of a sudden the Rays. Well, then they told us we were going to get the Giants and we were going to get the White Sox, and then we ended up I had the Tampa Bay Giants shirt, I had the Tampa Bay White Sox shirt because they were selling it like crazy down here just so they could get new stadiums. And then all of a sudden, finally, we got the Rays, and so it was a different thing, but. Braves have always been my National League team because the Rays were in the American League.
Well,
so I wanted to go there just to do the tomahawk shot.
Yeah, dude, I grew up with that team with Blauser and McGriff and Otis and all Maddox and Smoltz and
they had a nice pitching.
Dude, Avery, Smoltz, Maddox, and I feel like we're forgetting
Smoltz, Maddox, Avery, and the big one.
Yes, we're missing the biggest guy that was on that.
Yeah.
No, we are.
He wasn't a pitcher, but Chipper Jones.
Oh, yeah.
No, he wasn't even on the team then yet.
Oh, he wasn't there yet? Man.
End of that era, yeah. Chipper was basically the guy, the only player. Chipper always played by himself, poor guy.
Glavine, that was it.
Tom Glavine, yep.
Glavine, thank you, because he was their freaking horse, man.
Yeah, he was nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Ray's talk though, man. They just come up, like that Margot, that sacrifice bunt. You got to be willing to make, to do those. Like a lot of batters don't like to come up and do a bunt. They'd rather try to go out there and get a base hit or something.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that play too? You feel like they called that play correctly?
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional. I just think he stopped because he thought it was he's gonna pop out. So and then when he realized he wasn't, he started running. So I don't think it was intentional. Even if they reviewed it, there's nothing there that showed that he intentionally was trying to block the play.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's the thing. The guy has
and that's coming from a biased race fan.
Well, the runner has his right for the baseline or for the the lane. So he was out of the box basically by the time they made contact. He had 1 foot in the box at least. So he's in a base path there. So I feel like, hey, that's kind of one of those incidental contact plays, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Yeah. So now for the next game,
which is huge because hopefully with all the rest he should be able to at least go 7 innings.
Yeah, that would be huge. If he can come out and start hitting the strike zone early, and the Rays can continue what they're doing at the plate, just at least getting good at bats and keeping them nervous, putting the pressure on them, it would be great. Yeah, we could get 7 out of Glass, not have to go into the pen, and maybe come out with the other team not winning any games in this series.
And it's going to be Glasnow against Greinke.
Yeah. So, and he's, Greinke's happy that there's no fans or whatever. You guys saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
We were throwing him shade for that. I'm like, fuck you guys, man. Fuck you. You guys don't know what it's like, And I don't think he's saying I don't like having fans. I just think he's saying it's a nice change of pace for him personally, because that's the most stressful part of his job. It's not pitching or anything else. It's the interaction with the fans and being in that environment. So it might we might see both him and Glasnow go 7 innings, and it's a 2-1 game. You know what I mean? We might see extra innings tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean he's a tough pitcher to face, but I want to see the Rays kind of start fast, like how they did in game 2. They came out right out of the gates, 3-0 lead, and then pretty much that held the entire time. But I'd like them to come out, start fast, get the momentum. It's already in your favor. Just bury the Astros, make them go away, as John Cooper would say.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think that's key. And here's the thing: keep the pressure. You think Altuve is able to shake off these errors already? I don't think so.
Oh, it's got to be in his head.
I think it's in his head. Yeah,
it has to be. It has to be. And again, sure, he's got those homers, but let's go back to the comment that we had earlier from Glenn. I'll take 1-run homers all day, especially in the first inning. I'll take that all day. Because you know what that does to me as well as a pitching staff for the Rays? Lets me settle in a little bit, I got that one out of the way. Whatever. Now I can settle in. But now we can go to do our job, But that's the way I look at it.
But that's happened all year with the Rays. When they gave up home runs, it's been a lot of one-run shots. They haven't given many up where it's a 3-run home run or a 2-run home run. I think they gave a couple to the Yankees, in that series. But other than that,
run home runs, yeah.
You can live with solo home runs because with your defense playing as well as it does, it's going to be hard for them to score like that.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it.
The Rays have won 11 straight with Glasnow on the plate, so on the mound.
Yeah, I mean Glass is as good as they come, And when he has that curveball working, it can be another 10 strikeout game.
His
Smooth.
postseason is 2-0, 4.05 ERA with 20 Ks.
He's
And then-
really like, I don't know. I don't want to be controversial, but he's really our number one pitcher, but he just starts behind Snell. I think it's a.
And I think that's why they put him at game 4.
Well,
And had already previously announced it.
It's that we're in this cash era right now, and it feels like we're still kind of in the Madden era, but it's like Madden 2.0, right?
Yeah.
Because they did this back then when Madden was here. They never had their number one guy necessarily be there, like Shields. Shields wasn't necessarily their best pick. He was always their big game. He was number one. He was always lead the rotation, And for a while, it was him, then Kaz, and then it was Archer, or not Archer, Price.
Price.
Yeah, and then it was him, then it was Price, and then like the Rays have always kind of used their number one guy later in the rotation, and I like it. It's for the same reason, like I say, like you can kind of bear your best guy, and if you can get quality starts and innings from your bullpen early on, and then you can bring your big guy in. That's completely changing the game. You know what I mean? It's like chess, not checkers. You know what I mean? You're playing chess and they're playing checkers.
Yeah, but I mean, Snell. He's gonna come in and he's not gonna like crap the bed. He's gonna give you a good game one. Exactly. He's gonna pitch 5 to 6 innings, and it's gonna be really, Snell's no walk in the park, but I just think Tyler Glasnow is just that much better. So you go into a game one and you have Snell pitching, and then game 2 you got to go versus Glasnow, but that's a very advantageous for the Rays. And then you got Charlie Morton, who he hasn't been able to go as deep, but he's still producing quality innings. I mean, yesterday he gave up 0 runs after
lost
a couple. Yeah, he had a couple shaky innings, but he was able to pull himself together. He's a veteran. He knows what to do. And, yesterday he gave up 0 earned runs. And it's just crazy.
God, I mean, 2 days ago. But yeah,
I like that comment from Tyler there at the bottom.
And look, and you got so many a lot of good pitchers, the Rays, they had a really good prospect in Brent Honeywell, who last year, and I think it was during spring training, he jacked up his elbow, and he hasn't pitched at all this year, but he's on the 40-man roster. So it'll be exciting to see what he does next year. Not to get ahead of myself, but the Rays have done an amazing job pitching. Kyle Snyder's one of the best, and I like when he comes out there and when the pitchers are a little bit, off the mark, he comes out there and he's like, puts their head back in the game and they get it done.
Well, me and Stache were watching the end of the game together, except for he was a little delayed behind me, so the last 2 at batters he had to go away and watch it live. But we were talking about how Castillo, he's not throwing strikes at you, but you still are going to swing at him.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing about the way they do this lineup, and that kind of also you've got these guys that can throw, and that's the other thing about him too. He still throws 98. He never throws strikes. The guy lives outside of the strike zone, and he just lives to make you look stupid. And to me, that's the kind of reliever I want. If I'm not kind of old school baseball coach, I want guys throwing 98. I want my stable of 98ers. And that are pounding the strike zone for 7, 8 innings, and then my closer comes in, and he doesn't even come close to hitting the strike zone. But every pitch out of his hand looks like a strike, but it never falls. That to me, that's a real closer to me, because then you have no idea where that guy is coming from.
You got to respect the 98, man. Like, you can't just take them. You know what I mean?
No,
Especially
and then he
if
dropped it down to 88.
Yeah, that was on his slider, though.
Yeah.
Generally, his slider's in the 90s. usually 90, 91, and then he took just a little bit off because who was it?
It was to Altuve.
Yeah.
Yeah, Altuve the other night.
Yeah.
When he struck him out. So I think he wanted to just take a little bit off just so he doesn't time it.
Just different enough, yeah. And that's the thing about Castillo too, is that he's intentionally out of the strike zone. He's not wild out of the strike zone. He knows that his pitches look like strikes out of his hand. It looks like they're going to enter the strike zone, but they don't, and that's what makes him beautiful. It kind of reminds me we were talking about before about Maddox. Maddox never had a 98. I mean, he got up to like 94, 96 here and there, but mostly that guy lived for breaking pitches. He lived to like have a couple of pitches that were strikes normally, but 80% of what he threw wasn't a strike. It looked like a strike coming out of his hand, but it never ended up as a strike. But guys were swinging at it left and right.
It's the same with that. Who's that guy from Boston? Threw that sick knuckleball, man. Like,
Wakefield.
Most of the time, those weren't even in this. They weren't in the strike zone. They were dropping really low, but he get people to chase them.
Fucking show, fuck that guy.
But
I watch our viewers go up and down, and every time I start getting aggressive and dropping F bombs, it's just like doop. Like,
look, man, it's the future of baseball, man. You're not going to get pitchers that are going to go 120 pitches anymore. You know what I mean? Deep into a game.
No.
You want a pitcher who can go 5-6 innings and then get some, your bullpen to come in and support them, because it's more advantageous for, the pitchers and the other team, because you're not seeing the same pitcher over and over. The release is different. The timings, everything's just different. And so if you got Glass now going 6 innings, the next thing you know, you got Nick Anderson who's throwing sidearm coming in, or
Thompson.
You know what I mean? Or Ryan Thompson coming in for 2 innings throwing sidearm.
Like 6'10" too, isn't he the guy that's 6'10"? I always forget which one of our guys.
No,
is
Glass now is 6'8".
Glass now 6. No, yeah, but we got a 6'10" guy on our roster. I can never.
No, I think Glass now is the tallest on the team.
I'm telling you, we have a 6'10" guy. But anyways, maybe 6'8". I don't know. But anyways, no, you're right. You're totally right. And this is the way it is. And it used to be the starters, you wanted 3 rotations, 3 guys, 3 times through the batting ladder, order out your starter. That's what you wanted. If your starter could get through the rotation 3 times, then you were good. Or through the order 3 times, you were good. Now it's 2. If your starter can get through the rotation or the order twice, that's all you want. You don't want, and that is a testament to hitting. And the way hitters have become so much better in this league is because you don't want them to see a guy a 3rd time, no matter how many pitches he has or how good he is. You don't want them getting that 3rd shot at him. And I don't think that's necessarily changed. I just think that there's a different strategy in how you build your roster now and how much more pitching is. Like, even relievers, you didn't used to have 10 relievers. You had 5 or 6, and then you had your starters, and then the rest of them were all position players, To have
Aaron Slager is a 6'10".
See? 6'10".
He's 6'10"?
Yeah.
That's what it is. A slider.
And we haven't even seen Slagers this series.
No, he came out a couple times in the Yankees series, but we haven't seen him in this series.
And then you got Glass now, that's 6'8", Fairbanks 6'6", Curtis 6'5".
Curtis made a heck of a play tonight too.
Oh man, how about that, Dandy? Man, I wish Shooter was here to grab that screenshot for us, because I'm not going to do that shit and fuck up the show.
That was crazy. But if you think about it, like, look at the Yankees, man. Like, they're paying one pitcher $324 million, and the Rays are paying their entire roster $28 million.
Well, that's his full contract, though. That's not what he makes.
No, it's like $15 million a year, or 13 or something like that.
Right.
But that's like half the Rays payroll.
Well, it's like a third.
No, the Rays payroll this year was the 28 man roster was $27 million.
Are you serious? It was 27 mil?
Yeah, they were like second or third bottom in the league, because the Orioles they were the least. They had like 22 million. I forget
So
the next team had 24 million, and then the Rays were at 27 million.
So thanks, because you basically gave me the perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about. And I wish that there was something that we could create some type of town hall forum meeting with Stu Sternberg and the fans and fuck the city managers and the prospectors, and can we build a stadium here, there, blah, 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 blah. Because look, the guy might not spend money, but he knows who to hire. Okay, clearly, right? Clearly, we went from the best manager and pitching coach combination in the league from with Madden and Hickey to now maybe again the best manager and pitching coach combination in the league again, right? Back to back.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shitting the bed when Hickey retired, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't know what we're gonna do. But now we got the next guy up, and Sterling is like the whisperer. He's even more the whisperer than Hickey was, right? And Cash, he's just like we were saying, Madden 2.0. So if we could just get with Sternberg and be like, look, man, it's not your fault that you inherited a big top fucking circus. It's a place to play your ball. But if you could just stay around for the fans, man, we're in it. The fans are here. Just give us a quality place to go watch the game. I feel like we're watching baseball and not a three-ring Ringling Brothers circus. You know what I mean? Because if he did that, I think we would be there, man. We would be there. He put the product on the field. He has. He's done what he has to do with the budget he has. The guy has put a product out there for us to love.
So they started 27th on opening day, 27th in the league at 28.7 million.
But see, they went ahead and gave Loud the big contract too, which is something they don't normally do. They went ahead and gave him, aside from Longo, you know. So, and I think that contract that kind of came to bite them in the ass a little bit too in the end when they had to move him. So, you know, this ownership is showing signs that they're committed to winning. They just don't have the payroll that we want them to have in this division, but we don't need it. Clearly, we're showing you we don't need it. So now we need to embrace this owner and figure out a way as a fan base to let them know, if you build it, we will come. Build it. Sorry,
Yeah, I don't know.
He just needs help building it, though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to help him build it.
I do. I will help him build it. I don't care.
Yeah, but you got to put out some millions of dollars, man.
Right.
I think that stadium they wanted in Hillsborough was what, 800 million or something like. I don't know. It was some ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for this tax, and I will put my money where my mouth is as a team, as a fan. Do you want to be a hockey town? Do you want to be a sports town? Do you want to be Champa Bay? You know what I mean? Do you want to be Winners Bay? Do you want to be the town that now sports is known for? At least
well, they want it. They just don't want to pay for it.
I will pay for it. Fan and a resident of the Bay Area, tax me, please. I hate taxes. I'm a libertarian, bro. Down with the IRS.
Honestly, I don't think Vinnick buys the Tampa Bay Lightning had it not been the Tampa Bay Sports Commission saying we'll keep the Ice Palace and we have control of the Ice Palace and we're going to help you and you don't have to buy an arena. I mean, right now, Mr. Vinnick could probably ask for anything and Tampa Bay Sports Commission would probably give it to him on a silver platter.
Well, because that's right. You're absolutely right, because that was a thing. Like, because the Lightning owned the arena, right?
Right. Yeah, they still do. They still do.
Yeah. So that's the main difference, man. And that's the other thing, too, is, fuck you, St. Pete. You want to sit here and try and make a deal, but you wrangled you strong-armed the Rays, then the Devil Rays into that contract. Not only is that a shitty place to play, that is one of the worst contracts in the histories of sports teams and arena contracts. That's a terrible contract. And they're still freaking 7 years away from the end of it.
But when you look at it though, man, like I've been on that side. the wrong side of St. Pete and trying to drive to a Trop game, and it's awful, man. Like, no one from Tampa wants to make that trip. The traffic's awful. The parking isn't too great. So if you
No,
would
there's
do,
tons of parking. There's tons of parking.
There's
Like,
plenty of park.
Yeah.
Don't get me that. Yeah,
the
stop.
shitty parking is the Tampa Bay Lightning.
No,
Yeah.
only because of construction now. Only now because of construction. Before
the
construction,
Lightning's
no,
pretty bad too.
and after construction, even less of a problem with parking. But
So my thing is making that.
with this parking, except for Bucks games. Bucks games can be shitty, but it
Yeah,
just depends on where you go and if you're willing to pay for it. That's the difference.
it's just the making that trip across. It's just not, for me. If I lived in Tampa, I wouldn't want to make that, a couple times a week to go watch the Rays play, and that's the biggest issue. Now, if it's 10, 15 minutes from my house, I'm gonna go as much as I can.
That's all I'm saying. I sound lazy. I don't want to go because that stadium sucks.
Well,
That's
we talked about
I
it
don't mind the
before,
stadium.
though. The outreach in the community sucks for the Rays.
Yeah, it's not the same as what Vinnick does. The Glazers don't do it either.
You know what? The Lightning don't even do that anymore. Vinnick does nothing. He doesn't need to do that anymore. But back in the day, you used to see Lightning players everywhere.
They're still out there, and they still do the youth engagement for the hockey leagues.
Yep.
They're out there engaging the schools. They're building the youth, the high school hockey scene here. The Lightning are building it, have built it, continue to build it. That absolutely is what is the difference between the Rays and the Lightning and the Bucks. Because even the Glazers are better at it. But I think that's just football. Inherently, football has just always had that bit of charity to it. There's always
Right.
that thing is you make it big. You've got and that's not even as big as it used to be, but everyone had their own little end zone, right? Their own little, especially back in the day when I first moved here with the Bucks in their heyday. It was like everyone had like Saps Warriors and I'm blanking right now, but all those guys.
Brooks's, you got the A Train.
Yeah.
Exactly. They all had their little areas, They don't do it as much as they did now, but they still have their same kind of outreach. The Rays have had dick, nothing, but kiss. That's the number one problem right there. If they were more involved, like the Lightning traditionally have been, like the Bucks have been here and there, they would have much more support of the local community paying for a stadium for them.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think part of that also shows the players retiring and coming back. I mean, what Rays players do you really know that retire and stay here and then be part of the team again? Where the Lightning, they have a whole stable of players that have played for us, who live here in the Tampa Bay area, who coach. You go to Brandon Ice Rink and watch Little League hockey, and you got former Stanley Cup champion from 2004 players coaching. You go to Wesley Chapel, you got them coaching. You go to Lakeland's new one, you got them coaching. You don't have that in Tampa for the Rays. You don't have that in baseball, and you've got to build that.
On top of it, their kids are playing in these leagues. The players' kids are going to be growing up playing in these leagues in this area. Baseball is different too. They don't, how many baseball players are out there with families and raising their kids, and like, it's not the same, right? Like, especially like most American ball players, they don't have the same mentality. It's just an interesting thing. But anyways, get back to the Rays, and what they do right now is win. They win baseball games. They win playoff games. They come in clutch when it's clutch time. They're shifting gears, man. They're putting up runs, and they're making it happen.
If you would have told me at the beginning of the series that the Rays had a chance to sweep the Astros in the ALCS, I wouldn't have believed you. But
We
here
are
we are.
Well,
we are one hand away from winning a World Series.
I will say this
Yep.
though. We did sit here on game 1 and say, who are you afraid of on that pitching staff from the Astros? And none of us had an answer. And we even forgot. We didn't even bring up Greinke. We told
I know, because
Yeah.
years ago he would have been your number one guy.
It didn't even get brought up in that conversation. Are you kidding me?
I don't even remember who started game 1 for the Astros.
Right. So here we are. We've got Cy Young guy going up against Cy Young guy right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what it's all about. ALCS pivotal game, could be the one team not winning a game at all and the other team winning them all. I won't say the S word. Not gonna do it. It's my show. Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Man, I'm blown away. I'm blown away by the turn of events of this series. I truly am. After watching what happened on the other side of the bay in the playoff series, their playoff, sit back and just wait for the inevitable, right? Like the parallels are so similar, aren't they?
You cut out there.
We're talking about the parallels of the Lightning and now what the Rays are doing. It's hard not to just sit back and relax and wait for the inevitable, right?
Right. I mean, we literally Tampa just went through this. Like now it's reliving. I mean, literally just 2 weeks ago we were doing a show called We the Thunder and talking about a Stanley Cup championship. And then
our celebration show.
I know.
Celebration show yet because we had to roll right in to the Rays winning.
Exactly. And then we're like, oh, we'll do it Wednesday night. And now we're like, we can't do it Wednesday night because this could be a series clinching game for the Rays. And we're going to be watching it. So it's going to be kind of hard to talk about one and then be doing the other one. So, I mean, it's a magical moment in Tampa.
Months without stop talking hockey. And I don't even want to think about hockey tomorrow while this game is on. I don't even want to think about it. I'm too much in the moment. I'm caught up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Rays led.
Well,
I miss hockey, and I play this hockey game on my phone like religiously throughout the day.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, you guys give them the screenshots, man.
We personally know.
But man, it's been exciting, you know. I mean, this is like generally when you in a baseball season, you know, it's 162 games. You don't really stay, you know, you don't watch every single game because there's so many of them. And for me, like, you know, this year it was a 60-game season. I bought MLB Network for $12 for the entire year, you know, because I live out of state. And, you know, I watched 98% of those games. And, you know, it's just been unbelievable, you know, to see where this team just a few years ago, you know, because you knew we had the pitching. You just had to get the bats. And, you know, the Rays found them, you know. They got a steal in Randy Arozarena. You know, the Glasnow Meadows trades just was perfection.
Well, the Cuban connection for this team, I think it's obvious why, right? Like,
yeah,
the proximity to where we are. But I mean, at the same time, we don't see the Marlins with the same production, the same results, the same scouting. So you got to give the franchise a little bit of credit for it. But man, Arozarena, that guy, wow, I can't even. I don't know. The last time I've seen a story like his in any professional sport, let alone Major League Baseball, you know. I mean,
he's just been
rookie. The fact that he's even a rookie is mind blowing, and the rules of this game just blow me away. But then again, this guy just gets COVID, and then does 500 push-ups a day, minimum 500 push-ups a day. goes out there yoked, looking like freaking Paul Bunyan. His pecs are so big, he can't even like touch his elbows together in front of his freaking torso, right? And yet this guy's out there cranking them and timely hitting them out of the park, like base hits, doubles. Like this guy's hitting all across the field and making other pitchers look ineffective. And the rest of the lineup struggling. This guy is still coming through and getting himself on base. This guy's great. If the Rays bring home the Commissioner's Trophy, I'll go buy me a PWC. But only Killer is still a Tampa Bay Lightning member next season.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been the dude's been amazing, and it's hard to find, a hitter with power and speed. This guy is crazy fast. Like whenever he's on base, the pitcher can't just shake him off.
He's like Ricky out there. You know what I'm talking about.
And they see, like when he's on first base, they pay so much attention to him. It's just such an advantage, because at any time he can steal, and he's gonna beat that throw out. So go ahead. When you have to if you have to focus on a runner, then you're not focusing on the strike zone, and you're gonna miss pitches or you're gonna mess up, and it just leads to so much more. And I've been so impressed with Randy. It's just unbelievable what he's done.
He might not quite be Ricky Henderson fast, but he's got that swag and that burst speed. And then you even saw it today when he was on before the error, when Lau was batting. He did that vintage, almost like it's almost like the Wesley Snipes from Major League, where he didn't even he knew exactly his body length from the bag, so he didn't have to dive. Kind of laid down and touched the bag perfectly, right there. That to me is a sign of a guy that knows where he's at on the base pads, and you gotta be careful. That guy's gonna make you look silly all over the field, right? And he keeps doing it. And defensively, at play on the base pads, that's a guy that, man, if you could give him some kind of a mid-level 3 to 4 year contract right now, do it, right?
I think he's more comparable to Bo Jackson more than Ricky Henderson.
Wow. And I was kind of like, no, dude. What do you mean? That's high praise, bro. That's huge praise. But
no, I know it's high praise. It's just
you look at chess. You're right though, because that's what you're right. Because Bo had that speed, and he kind of had that running back frame, but had that power and that quickness.
And knew how to use it and how to use it to his advantage.
Yeah.
The only difference is Bo never played for a Tampa Bay team.
But you can compare. I compared these pitchers to the old Atlanta Braves pitchers, and you can compare this Rays team to several different players and pitchers, but down the years from now, people are going to be comparing teams to the Rays team of 2020.
And here's another parallel. A lot of those pitchers were cast-offs. Even Randy Arozarena was a cast-off with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And the team found a way, hey, we can use these guys. We know how to use them. We'll get them in here. We'll buy, they let them buy into our system, and all is well. And
yeah, man.
I'm just overwhelmed because the last time this team went to the World Series, or made a deep playoff run, was 2008. I was 11th grade. I'm still young. I'm only 30. But man, it's just been
as we're
just
talking,
been amazing to see. And
it's my birthday as we're talking. As of midnight, it was my birthday. That's what I keep looking at my phone for. People are still awake texting me.
Yeah, it's just been
birthday. And when you're like, oh, I'm in 8th grade, and I'm thinking, I was at the airport waiting for the team to come back when they lost against the Phillies in the World Series.
I was talking noise and Chevy Fountain in Rome. World Series,
It's just been like we talked about earlier. I mean, your best batters aren't even swinging the bat right now. You know, Willie Adames, Brandon Lowe, they haven't really been a factor, offensively in any of these series.
We said that again and again. As long as the other guys are doing their job at the plate, I will take Willie's defense over his bat any day.
Yeah, Willie's been sharp. I think everyone has played really well defensively. A lot of times in the regular season, we saw, even with the catchers, you saw a lot of pass balls, and I was like, man, I really, and you haven't really seen them in the postseason so far. Zunino's been on his game. He's swinging the bat well. Renfro's swinging the bat well.
Perez did a good job. Well,
Margot.
Margot, and that's a guy's a story if you haven't heard about him. His father died of COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
And and for him to even be playing this year, a lot of people talk about it, but you never know what's going on in an athlete's life.
The backstories behind this Tampa Bay Rays team is like this is going to be the next, Field of Dreams, Moneyball. There will be one about the Tampa Bay Rays 2020 team, no matter the outcome of this, because the backstory of so many of these players and their families is just something out of a storybook.
Especially if they make the World Series. Like if they win, they make the World Series. But absolutely, like win or lose in the World Series, yes, because they make stories about the people that don't win the championships all the time, as long as you're in the championship. So no matter what, although I do believe that's a whole new can when you look at maybe potentially facing the Braves, but this is again kind of like the same parallel from across the other side of the bay earlier. You don't really fear any matchup anymore. Like even coming from the other league, there's not really anybody you're afraid of if your team is playing this good and at this level, right?
And that's true. Right after that Columbus series, once they won that series, and they went and played Boston, they lost game 1. I wasn't, panicking at all. I'm like, no, they're gonna come back and win this series, and they rattle off 4 straight, and then they go on to
Islanders.
Yes, another New York team. I don't know how I forget. And just the adversity they had to fight, throughout the playoffs. As many overtimes as they played, the injuries, Braden Point, they're without their captain Steven Stamkos. It was just incredible to see, something that I'm still like 2 weeks later, like mesmerizing about. Like that was just in here. You got like Mike Brousseau getting his redemption against our Dallas Chapman, for almost decapitating him. And it's just been something special this postseason.
Oh, when they get past the Astros, that's it. I feel sorry for whether it's the Dodgers or the Braves being in their way, because that's gonna throw any monkey off the back for the Rays. And they're just going to have fun the
redemption of the Astros last year. The Astros stopped them last year. They seem to be getting by them right now. I'm not trying to jinx anything. I'm very superstitious, but when you have a 3-0 series lead,
Yeah, listen. We're gonna go a few more minutes. I'm gonna take a pit break, so you guys go ahead and let you talk for like 5 minutes, and then I'll come back.
My last thing I just want to say, because I gotta get off here and head home and shower, but the depth, man, like no matter what situation, not a lot of teams have the ability to put in a Mike Brousseau or a Yoshi Susugo or Hunter Renfroe. You know what I mean? Like they're getting contributions. Yeah, they're getting it everywhere, man, and it's just been incredible to see. No one's, when it's their turn, they're coming up and they're producing.
Well, even Choi. I mean, when
some of the catches he makes, like I feel that, and it hurts me. Like, gosh, man, the guy stretches, and like we don't even have Nate Lowe, however you pronounce it.
Wow.
He hasn't even been on the roster.
Yeah.
For the post, you know what I mean? Like, and he's another guy who can hit the ball hard. He can play really good defense, and it's just, I mean, the depth of this team is incredible. I don't think there's another team as deep as the Rays right now. There's just so much they can do, and we talked about it in the Yankee series. They can do so much with their lineup. They can do so much with their pitching that not a lot of teams in Major League Baseball can do right now. And what makes it sweeter is they are, the fifth lowest payroll. Like the Dodgers. The
27th
Dodgers
out of 30th. So
I think isn't there 32 teams in baseball?
no, 30.
30, okay. So even like the guy like Dodgers, man, they're right behind the Yankees in payroll, second in the league, with $77 million and they're on their 28-man roster. But the depth on this team has just been incredible for a team that's, only spent 27 million.
Yeah, it's looking at it real quick. The Yankees are the first with 113.9 million, and then you have the Rays down at 27th with 28.6. The Marlins are behind it. The Pirates, and then the Orioles are last.
Yeah, but like the Dodgers are second. I don't know where the Braves are at, but just what I was talking about, Stache, was just the amount of depth Tampa Bay has and everyone contributing and doing it while having one of the lowest payrolls in the league is just unbelievable.
No, for sure. And that's kind of been the commentary from the beginning of the show, is just how other teams kind of brought the concept of Moneyball up. The A's, because of the show, the movie, but it wasn't just the A's. Billy Beane was one of the first guys, but he wasn't the only one. But that for other teams to kind of bring that up, and then the Rays have perfected it. They perfected it, and like I said earlier, we had the version 1.0 when Madden was here with Hickey, and now you got Sterling, Cash here with Sterling, and it's 2.0, and now you're even in, like, because they've done it once. And I'll say this: I'm so out of the loop for the Rays. I don't even know who our GM is right now. But that dude right now, that's Shooter. We gave Shooter a ration of shit for not knowing Whitey Ford last show. Look, I deserve a ration of shit right now for not knowing the GM of our memory.
If memory serves me right, the GM of our team this year wasn't the GM of our team last year because Boston.
Yeah.
Is he? I thought Bloom
Eric,
was our GM.
It's Eric Neander.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's been with the Rays for a while, so I know that name. He has been with the Rays for
fourth season.
Yeah, for a while.
He entered his fourth season as senior vice president and general manager. His third season as the club's top-ranking baseball official.
Yeah. So what was Shane Bloom? Was he just our...
That's why you're the professor. Shout out to the professor.
Was Shane Bloom just the player personnel?
Who is it?
Shane Bloom, the guy who went to the Red Sox after.
Oh. What was he?
But yeah, it's just been amazing to see. I know it's late, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off and hopefully see you on here tomorrow night with a victory.
Yeah, man. It's gonna. Well, listen. We kind of decided this. I don't think we can do the We the Thunder show during the game, but maybe if the Rays don't pull it off, maybe instead of a Rays post game, we do the Lightning show as our actual post game show instead. I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow, and we'll let everybody know what's going on. But
he was vice president of operations, Chris.
He was VP of. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now you know where you go. And now you know. Knowing is half the battle.
But if they win tomorrow, I'd rather
we're popping bottles, baby. You know how we do. I mean, Shooter
Me
the
and
stat.
Skulu will be popping the Coke
The
bottle.
sodas. actually,
Listen,
actually, the way these games keep playing, I'm able to get home now before the
that's good.
games are over. So,
Right.
2 things before we go though. I want to say the biggest thing I hate in Tampa, bandwagons.
you got to
Okay.
get out of here, Chris. That's cool, man. Thanks for stopping in. No problems, man.
No, it's fine. I'll listen to what he has to say
Okay.
real
I was
quick.
just saying,
I'm
what's up?
interested in it.
I hate right now seeing on Twitter and on Facebook and everything else, everybody saying, look at all these bandwagon fans. We talked about this with the Lightning. You have to start somewhere. Unfortunately, the Rays don't celebrate themselves in this community and promote themselves enough.
Right.
So for this to be what the only thing people can see on TV right now and jumping on the bandwagon, then so be it. They're just fans.
I also don't think that there's that many bandwagon fans. Like, we got into this gate very first
Yeah,
episode.
I'm not.
I got into it with the guy in the comments about there's way more Rays fans out there than anyone gives us credit for. It's just that that's a shitty product. Nobody wants to go watch it live. They do such a good job with their broadcast. It's much easier and better to stay home and watch the game and listen to Dwayne and BA call our games than go there live and deal with all the bullshit. St. Pete, hipsters now, blah, 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 blah. Circus, big top, first stadium. You don't feel like you're actually at a baseball game. You feel like you're at, Cirque du Soleil. I don't know. The fans are there. The fans are here. We're waiting for a fucking experience to come to us. We want the experience. So I agree with you. Lay off the fans, man. Don't be sitting here saying, "Oh, bandwagon this, bandwagon that." No, these people have been around for a while. We've just been waiting for the product to come back. You know what I mean?
And then a shout out real quick to Ace Down Clothing. If you checked out Shooter's page today, he got his 98ers hat. Me and Stache are both getting ours this week. And they're actually pretty much sold out and taking pre-orders for their next round of hats. So
we got some shirts coming in too, pro bono from Steve over there. Him and I were chatting the other night. So Steve over at Ace Down Clothing, that's our guy. He's the 98ers. Yeah, man, good job, those guys. I can't wait to get our swag and be our unofficial official sponsor of We the 98ers, Ace Down Clothing.
Yeah, now that I saw Shooter in that hat, I'm really waiting for my hat now.
See, I got the gray one. I didn't get the. I didn't We the 98ers. I got the. Gray
I would.
one.
I'd buy a hat, but I don't really wear hats often. So I might just I'll dabble into the shirts, but
I can tell you right now, you're not that kind of guy.
I'm not a hat or sunglasses. But look, when you talk about bandwagon, look, I wasn't a Lightning fan until 2013. I came back from Afghanistan. My brother had tickets to a Lightning game when I was on leave. We went to a Lightning game, and I just fell in love. That's the first time I ever watched hockey, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah, I hate it.
I don't think there's such thing as a bandwagon fan. Exactly. Like,
well,
like
I think. Okay, look, there's some Buccaneer bandwagons fans, especially when Tom Brady's on board. Look, there's a lot of people who wouldn't support the Bucs.
But you know what?
The Blazers didn't support the Bucs, bro. Come on. Look, okay. Look, we're breaking down.
If you supported the Bucs and the Raheem Morris, Greg Schiano, that's a true.
Keep going further back.
Problem,
I see the old sombrero at the top of this.
Yeah, but I'm not that old, man, dude.
Right.
I can only help for where I was born. I was born in '90.
No, and you're totally
so
right.
What I'm saying though is the
Glazers didn't believe in Raheem Morris. Okay, the Glazers didn't believe in Greg Schiano. They didn't believe in these guys they brought in. That's the little bit of the difference between that team. Like, we've been waiting as Bucks fans, as much as I could say I'm a Bucks fan, for them to go out and get a guy like Arians, to go and get a guy like fucking Brady. We've been waiting for that. We're not bandwagon fans. We're fucking, damn, we've been here so long. We've been waiting for this so I could be a fan again fans. So that's the difference with the Bucks, if you ask me.
When you have the Lightning putting a winning product out on the ice every year, it's kind of hard to get into the other two losing sports. Doesn't mean you're not a fan of them. It just means you can't back it as much as you do the Lightning.
And
Because I'll wear any Tampa team on my chest and on my hat with pride. And I'm gladly will state I'm from Tampa and I'm a Bucks fan. I grew up here. I was born in Jersey, but I grew up here. So Tampa sports is all I know. So, and like I said, I was in the old sombrero.
22, you know, I moved here at 22. I'm 40. So maybe not all my life. I didn't grow up as a kid here, but I grew up as a man in this city. I found out I just was learning what sports are when I moved here. See? Yeah. I was just learning what sports were when I moved here, even though I grew up like with the Cowboys winning dynasties as a dynasty, being from the Southwest, moving here, going back out there, watching the Avalanche and the Red Wings. Like, you know, I saw it all. I experienced a lot of it. But when I came back here, that's when I really the Bucks won the Super Bowl. But right before I got here, did I freeze?
No, you're fine. It's him that's freezing.
Okay. So, but the Bucks won the Super Bowl right before I got here in 2002. And then the Lightning won the Stanley Cup right after I got here in 2004. And then 2008, I met my wife and got married. And then the Rays went to the World Series. So, like, for a guy in his 20s to come down, also, like, the first 4 years I lived here was basically, like, maverick, like, target-rich environment. Like, yes, living your best life on the Bay. And then, you know, to have that experience sports-wise and then life-wise, like, I am 100% a Tampanian, 100% to my soul. You know what I mean? So I love the ability right now to kind of replay that all over again. We might have, again, we could be looking at a triple crown. I mean, there's some other teams in the NFL that are a little bit scary, and maybe the Bucks right now don't look like they can beat them. But we're looking at week 5 Brady. I want to know what we're looking at week 16 Brady in this team. You know what I mean? So anyway, again, here we are. This is what happens whenever Shooter's not here. The shit goes off the rails. Post game fucking victory show. Here we are.
He's gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, it was an hour and 25 minutes. What the hell?
We're gonna get cut. So if you're watching live, you're lucky.
It's like my when I write a script for him. He's like, man, you always write these things 10 minutes long. You got to keep them to like 3 minutes.
Yeah, he said. We'll talk about that on the next show that he's not here.
All right, guys. Hey, this was fun. I'll see you hopefully maybe tomorrow night. Regardless, either Rays or Lightning.
We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been
Let's hope
fun.
it's a Rays.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it will be.
It's a
doesn't lose.
Win streak. Yes. All right, man. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. We love you.
Guys.
Shooter can suck it.
All right.
mean, we'll miss Shooter.
Go Stache. Boo, Shooter.
Oh, this guy's the best.
Thomas is awesome as always.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. You too. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
Boring, just me and Stache looking at each other all night.
All right, man. Take it easy, brother. All right, man. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up here at not quite an hour and a half with out our liege, our captain.
2:15 in the morning. Could you imagine what he would be like right now?
He's supposed to be working 4 hours from now. But hey, he's pitching Under Armour Europe tomorrow, so hopefully we could get some free swag off of that. Because
yeah, there we go.
When it all comes down to it, that's all Shooter and the Stache is about: free shit. Speaking of which, again, another shout out as Thomas did to Aced Out Clothing. Steve from Aced Out, that guy, great guy. And by the way, that's themed apparel too. We didn't talk about that before. They do specific themed apparel. They don't do like team apparel. They do like individual players, monogram hats, shirts, all that stuff. So if you have like a favorite player, or like a phrase or a catchphrase or something like that, that's what they do. And that's pretty cool, man, because not a lot of other companies do that kind of thing. So we'll make sure we give them a shout out again whenever Shooter is running the show and we get regular watch numbers instead of these terribly anemic numbers we got tonight. I blame it on the late game.
Yeah.
It's not because Shooter's in here. It's just because it was a late fucking game and it's 2:30 in the morning and almost who still is awake. But thanks Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler.
I appreciate that. So like an hour behind us or so he's hanging in tough.
The Shooter always does the number one comment of the game or whatever. We're just gonna make you the number one fan.
We're gonna make you the number one fan. That's right. Tyler gets special love. I dig the hat too in the profile pic. I like I don't like the old school the old school TV hat there. Like it a lot.
Tyler, how'd you find us? Is he one of your friends, Stache?
I don't know. Let's wait and see. We're gonna sit here and kill some time and see if Tyler's listening and he wants to comment and let us know how he found Shooter in the Stache and we, the 98ers. Now it must be on that Central Standard Time delay as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like you watching the game tonight on the delay. But do you know every time I sign on to one of these, it's usually Mark and Shooter, and they're on the delay, and I'm sitting here trying not to cheer, and he's like, "That's it, you're muted the rest of the game." Like, sorry, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't have cable here in the lab. I mean, I do. I just don't have it hooked up. We use our HOA free cable. I don't pay extra for that crap. I got no streaming services as it is. So, yeah.
Oh wait, I'm totally listening. Like local Tampa sports news, you guys came up under recommended stuff. Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. That's cool, man. Well, I appreciate it, and here we are. We appreciate it. We'll be here for all the Rays games. If you're a local Rays or Tampa fan, also I do. Wait, doth my eyes deceive me? Is that looks like the neck of a saxophone also in your profile picture?
God.
Am I right?
Your eagle eyes.
Saxophone neck right there.
No, I'm on Facebook trying to find them now. Hold on while we stalk you real quick, Tyler.
This just came right off my wall. I'm just saying. I do have a saxophone hanging on my wall. That's not in the regular picture, but not in the
It is, he said. It is.
You notice my white Charlie Parker mouthpiece?
I got a Budweiser light up guitar, but it's not a real guitar. It's one of those beer signs. That's all I got.
Playing saxophone since I was knee high to a hop toad, as they say.
He said, "Whoa, you have one too."
That's what he said. Well, hey man, thanks Tyler for coming in late, hanging out here in the insanity. I promise our shows are a little bit usually more hyped than this, but give us a follow, man. Give us a like on Facebook. Find us on the Twitterverse. You see, that's me at Talk Stache. We do this all the time. We love Tampa Bay sports. So if you like Tampa Bay sports and you're living out of the area and out of the market, we're a show for the fans by the fans. So that being said, man, everybody, those that were here, those that were not, thanks for being here or not being here. Let's go Rays. Rays up 3-0 lead in the series.
Raise up.
Julie, what do you got to say coming out?
Let's go for the S word tomorrow. Bring out the brooms. Let's take it.
4 consecutive wins for the winning team. That's right, baby. Once again, this has been We the 98ers. I am your substitute host, the Stache. With me tonight was the Professor Thomas Schooley. Thanks, Chris, for stopping in. We'll see you next time, everybody. Don't forget to raise up.